strive to uphold the spirit of respect and unity in our community. With us tonight, we have all councillors in attendance, as well as our CAO, Mark Seguin, Aaron Richard, the Director of Community Service, and Jacob McPherson, Planner. I didn't mention it. We started at 7 p.m. Sorry. First off, agenda.
A couple changes to make. Can we remove item NE, the 2026-2027 draft budget, as well as add on, it would be under bylaw and policy, D, I guess, bylaw 2018-24 commercial district improvements in the town of Stewiacke as a discussion item for this evening only.
All right. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda with those changes made?
I'll make the motion to approve the agenda as amended for the council meeting of February 26th.
And second, Councilor Blanc. Are there any discussions of interest on the agenda? Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. All in favor? Opposed? Are there any discussions of interest on the agenda? All right. Hearing none. Are there any questions or changes required to the minutes from the committee of the whole meeting from January 8th, 2026? There are none. Okay. There are no announcements tonight. There are no presentations tonight. There are no written petitions and correspondence tonight. And we will start with citizen comments. Are there any citizen comments? If there are, could you please state your name and where you're from? Start. Yes.
My name is David Gordon. I'm on behalf of
No.
I just I'm kind of along with the follow it. So I work for a County residential realtor. And I also work with Mr. Gibson on many other things as well. And the town, I know you had a meeting this morning, looking to do away with the 10% tax relief program for commercial. And I just think that talking with Mr. Gibson earlier today, previous, that we've been working hard for a couple of years, as you know, to bring in development, bring stuff, just bring housing and residential and commercial to Stewiacke, and it's been a long haul. It's I've been on 43 years in real estate business, by the way. It's a long, tough grind to get people to come here to buy these homes. That's the distance in between Toronto and Elmsale. Elmsale seems to be the stop point. Anyway, we've been successful. We've got 24 or so in the last couple of years. But the tax incentive that within the town, we spoke to a couple commercial people. Actually, Mr. Gibson is working with 4 or 5 people right now. And that's been presented to them as well. And I think that town is looking to bring people into the town to buy into the town. It would be tough, and Mr. Gibson as well. Take the head on where you're at. I think that trying to do the thing, bring more assessment, bring more business in town, bring employees into the town, and that Mr. Gibson asked me to come and speak about it from there. I just think would be his part, we just think would be a mistake for the town to take that away. But still, we're just barely getting on. I mean, he did it for the first building, we do it for the MGM property there. There's not a whole lot going here, but we're still hard to get people to come to town, get the commercial buyers to come to town and invest. staff and trying to invest and trying to drop. Same take away a program that we have that would benefit, would keep going. We're just get going over there, you know. But anyway, that's basically what I have to say. I forgot my notes. I apologize. Speaking off the top here. So.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments? Any online?
No, it's not.
All right, we'll move on to business. And first up, we have CAO's report.
First up, I just wanted to variety of updates. First is just regarding snow removal. Again, it's been a really tough month. We've had an extraordinary winter. Just reminding residents that we continue to ask residents to abide by the municipal parking ban. Just that no person shall park or standing or unattended vehicles on the roads between 9 p.m. and 7 a.m. so that we can continue our snow clearing activities. Since our last meeting, there's been a number of infrastructure or equipment issues I want to update council on at this time. I'm going to start first with the water tank maintenance project. We did approve way back when the contract to Aquastore. That project was delayed just due to the turbidity of the water in the river. But we have been able to proceed with the new flashing replacement that's been completed. And we were able to install a new pump at the plant. One of the pumps failed, so we've got that installed now. And now have both pumps working operationally fine, but a couple more maintenance issues to deal with the pump in terms of just some clamps and straps and things like that we're working on. The water treatment plant design project, again, the Department of Environment approved the ability for the town to take water from the senior aquifer. So proceeding on focusing on that tonight we will talk about the grid program and the funding that we applied to from the province of Nova Scotia. We'll update the public on that general report this evening. And for the next step on that project, we will release the design RFP for the water treatment plant along with project management for that project to get it through to the completion. In terms of emergency repairs, as you report to council, the water treatment plant Saturday, January 31st. We had a power outage at the plant. It caused a power surge, blew a variety of fuses and a variety of different electrical components in the plant that have required emergency repair. Our crew is basically there 24 hours a day for the. It led also to the bursting of a pipe in the plant. It burst a number of components due to some freezing. We produced emergency repairs there. I'll keep council updated on that as we continue to just work on some regular maintenance and keep that plant monitored and going. A diesel generator on Joffrey Street. Ms. Richards, who said tonight's been working on that for us. We have an emergency generator on Joffrey Street to keep the pumps going in the event of a power failure. There's a leak in the diesel tank for the generator. In order to proceed with a repair on that, we need to repair and replace the entire tank. There are only, because it's a certain generator, we have to buy the tank that fits that generator. We did get quotes from 2 suppliers, but in terms of replacing the tank, the liner, and the forecasted components, including labor and materials, it's going to be approximately $50,000 to repair that diesel tank. So we will report back to council once we have the final number, but it's deemed an emergency repair that we have to proceed with, especially if it's leaking diesel. So Ms. Richards is working on that. We will council. The water tower on Windcrest. Some people may have noticed a large ice formation on the side of the tower. The last 2 weeks, we've had approximately a loony-sized hole developed inside of the water tower, approximately 60 feet in the air. It caused a large ice formation on the side of the tower. We immediately got crews in to inspect and fix the leak. What we found was a leak behind the riser pipe that runs up the wall of the tank. We noted during the inspection both riser pipe brackets and tieback straps show some ice damage as well as rust streaks where the bowl bolts have broken the glass due to the expansion of the ice. In total, there are supposed to be 6 sheets that we need to repair in the spring. We will probably work on a change order with Aquastore. Again, it's a tank that's supplied by Aquastore, so we need to work with them. They were awarded the contract for the maintenance on the tank anyways. And in terms of an update for council, that project was awarded to Aquastore in the amount of $125,820. We did estimate $300,000 for that overall project, so we have room in that budget to complete the additional work that we now need to proceed with. That project is going to be very complex because we were going to leave the Windcrest Tower online and do some of the internal work with divers and a robot. We now need to draw the entire tank down, shut it off, and bypass it while that work happens because we need to replace the anodes, the glass panels inside the tank. So we will be working with an engineering team, working with contingency plans for operation off of the small tank at the water treatment plant. The approximate time is 1 to 2 weeks to do that project. And we will be working on some contingencies to make sure that we have the system operating properly. During that time, we will give the public ample notice. We will be asking for water conservation efforts during that time. That will put a lot of pressure on the system, but it's the only way to do the project. So we'll make sure there's proper communication and make sure everybody's updated along the way. We had a meeting with the highway transportation group in the province. We're just asking for some infrastructure plans and updates for highway number 2 in Main Street. Currently, at the moment, there's no plans for intersection improvement on the province's side. That's not to say that they won't happen, but we have worked with them. We'll start doing some sort of traffic analysis and sort of signal analysis, and then that will probably result in the need for a traffic impact study. There was a study done by the town, and thanks to Ms. Richards for doing some research on this. The study did show that we need to double our traffic count before the province would consider any new traffic mitigation. Not sure we're there yet, but we'll start that process and get the ball rolling to get back to them. Community development, been a lot of activity. Our community development recreation team, the March break camps are at 95% capacity. Easter egg hunt will be held March 28th at 10 a.m. at the recreation grounds. They include the fire inspections of the water treatment plant, wastewater treatment plant, and the outbuildings. Recreation Nova Scotia Fall Conference will be held in Truro this coming fall. Staff are helping to support the planning for that conference. And the Community Center stage has been renovated thanks to the donation from the Rising Tide Health Society, the dinner theater, and generous community members. Next up, next Thursday, March the 5th at 6:30 at the COTW Meeting Center, we will hold a nomination meeting. That meeting is to provide information on nomination, what it is, how it could happen. And it's basically to receive feedback from the public on how you feel or what you think are some pros, what do you think are cons, what do you think will be lost, and what do you think will be gained during nomination. So we'll see the public at 6:30 till 8:30 p.m. at the COTW Meeting Center on March the 5th. That's my updates for this evening, and I'm happy to take any questions. Regard.
So last one.
Just one question. Do we know the cost of the traffic study?
We do not know the cost of the traffic study. There is a signal analysis that the province will do for us at their cost. It's cost free. They have staff that can do that to start. If we did a traffic impact study, I would hesitant to put a number on it, but I guess it'd be in the neighborhood of 30,000.
Yep. Thank you.
That's one more.
In regards to the diesel generator, I'll ask it, do we have a generic one or a company specific one?
So the tank is specific to the generator. So there's 2 different companies that supply the same tank, and Ms. Richard got quotes from both companies. And then we have a company to do the installation as well. So we'll go with the lower bid from the 2, but we have to use the.
That's right. So what I'm really asking is, where the generator come from?
I should maybe. But
I can't speak to that. Samsung is the company that provides the repair and work service for that, and they own the Atlantic provinces. So that's kind of why we're.
Yeah, okay, so what I was asking, if it was like a Caterpillar, you can go anywhere and get things. Yeah, so that's the question where I was going, if we purchase specific kind, then we have to go back to some. But I'm just asking a general question, that when we do purchase things, is it more generic, such as Caterpillar, or very specific to a particular company? When we purchase things, it depends on the purchasing policy, and if we go out to tender and we spec something, we have to go with the lowest bid based on government procurement. So it could be a Kubota, it could be a Caterpillar, it could be many different brands. Once we get it, we're then bound by utilizing their equipment, and we source the parts from suppliers that supply that brand. Very good. We got 2 quotes from suppliers and suppliers brand. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you.
Question: is it a bad diesel leak? Like, is there an environmental?
I would ask Mr.
It's small, but it needs to be done as soon as possible. Especially right now, we're about May-ish because it's frozen. Like the ground is frozen. It's winter, so it's not. Okay. It's an emergency. Absolutely.
Any other questions? All right, we'll move on to 10B, grid funding report.
Okay. Okay, so we're council. Essentially, the grid program provides funding for infrastructure renewal or projects. What we applied for in the grid project is applied for 50% of the eligible costs of the design of our water treatment plant and project management costs that go along with that. We don't have an engineer on our staff, so we would be going out and procuring an engineer and a construction manager to manage the project and oversee the construction. We did our estimates on the project, and we estimated that the engineering design, engineering project management, and the engineering of a backup well sourcing, adding in a proper 15% contingency, brought the estimated total cost of the project to $3,277,500. Adding the HST, the total estimated project cost was $3,404,012. We were informed last week by the province that we were successful in our grant. We will receive 50% of the funding. The province will provide $1,702,006, $702,006, and at 50%, our share would be $1,702,006, or $702,006. With that, from a town perspective, we need to get authorization from council to sign.
So we are looking for a motion for this tonight.
Yes, we need a motion in order to sign in terms of reference with the province, and I will note that the province did ask for us to sign in terms of reference by March the 13th. Today, we recommend to council eventually signing the terms of reference, and then we bring the report back for validation on March 26th meeting. So I did let them know that we have a scheduling difference with their needs, and they're okay to give us an extension to the 27th of March. Council wishes to proceed, but this would allow us to immediately release the design RFP and construction management for the water treatment plant.
So may I?
Pending March 27th sign off, right, council? I know that was going to be your question.
Can I have a motion on this?
I'll make the motion, that we recommend to council that the mayor and the CAO be authorized to execute the contribution documents with the province of Nova Scotia, Department of Municipal Affairs, to secure $1,702,006 towards the cost of the town's water treatment plant design and project management. We further recommend to council that the town of Stewiacke match the province's contribution and approve the town's contribution in the same amount of $1,702,006, 50% of the projected cost of $3,404,012.
Thank you, Councilor Osborne. Is there a second? Councilor LeBlanc seconds. Any questions? All in favor? Anyone opposed? Okay. Right. Moving on to
Station, staff are reporting that issued for tender construction for the station at low tide. It's a project that was identified in our wastewater study as refurbishment and reconstruction to add the to take care of the current capacity and the capacity needs for the future from our wastewater needs. So we issued the tender February the 19th, 2 p.m. in accordance with our town procurement policy. We did receive 4 bids, one from Alpha Mechanical, which was the low bid in the amount of $247,000. One from LR Construction Limited, which was $271,476. Atlantic Snow Removal, or Atlantic Snow and Ice Management, which was $281,945 and 14 cents. Dexter Construction was at $468,200. We did this in line with the town procurement policy, and for financing, this project is covered in our $2.5 million matching grant, which totals $5 million towards wastewater improvements from the province of Nova Scotia, and we are recommending to proceed with the low tender from Rodco Mechanical.
Station report received, and that council recommend that contract number 251100 low tide road pump station upgrades be awarded to Rodco Mechanical Limited, $247,000 plus HST, and that council recommend that the mayor and CAO be authorized to execute the contract on behalf of the town.
Thank you, Councilor Rogers. Can I get a second? Councilor Osborne. Are there any discussions? All in favor? Everyone agrees. All right.
Okay, so town hall building report. I'm bringing this forward for information from council, and if they so choose to provide direction, that's in council's hands. We brought forward a couple of reports lately regarding the need for a new town hall library building. We talked about in January the implications towards the budget, which was this year that we had no choice to either refurbish and bring town hall up to code and up to standard, which we placed almost $1 million in the budget this year to refurbish this building based on the fire inspection and building code requirements. Subsequent to that, we provided council with a number of options to proceed with the project. Since reporting to council, we received an unsolicited proposal from the Perry Lake Development. I'm happy to go through the options that I presented to council in January for both town hall and library, if you so wish. But the offer that's come forward from Perry Lake is for Perry Lake Development with the offering the town of Stewiacke the following. Perry Lake will gift lot C10 in Stewiacke River Crossing development to the town of Stewiacke, which is 1.3 acres for $1 for the purpose of a new town hall building. There's an attachment to your reports, which offer Ontario Lake Development subject to following. The town provided donation receipt for the land value based on the most recent sales, which is $7.50 per square foot, which is approximately $430,000 net of HST. Staff have confirmed that the Municipal Government Act does allow for municipalities to receive land as a donation for the purposes of development of municipal assets, including town hall, libraries, parks, etc. That the municipality can issue a donation receipt for the market value of the land. Perry Lake development would require the town to cover closing costs, which would be minimal. And that Perry Lake would require the town to abide by all existing commercial land covenants in the area, which is, there's a variety of different covenants that are look at them. There's nothing that is out of the ordinary. It's the interest of like building cladding and things like that. The town must acknowledge that for the purpose of gifting the land is for construction of a library or a town hall. If the property would be sold without building for those uses, we would be having to sell the property back to Perry Lake for the $1, and the town will be accepting the lot in as is condition. The building inspectors take a walk through the lot. Never been developed, so there's very low risk in terms of what's been on that site. The offer of Perry Lake Developments is open for acceptance until April 15th, 2026. Should council provide direction to staff to proceed with the offer, council should be aware of the following: that the property could hold a 5,000 square foot building. Staff estimate town hall requiring 5,000 square feet for town business requirements. That if the library was to be included on the property, that the building housing both would need 2 floors to accommodate the requirements. The current library is Stanford has approximately 1,800 square feet, and it needs for the current and future population likely double. For council's consideration, one of the things that staff have noted from the public since the conversation about the town hall library is the walkability, and then that wants to have the library in downtown core. So options for the library could be to build combine the new library with the town hall build, which we went over in January. You could build a new standalone library on one of the town's vacant properties. For example, on the old church lot. You could leave the existing building in place. We would still need to renovate the existing space, bring it up to library or to building code. Or we can seek alternatives. We could look at other buildings within the downtown core. Staff's perspective is to look at options within the downtown core, and the options are in front of council. Happy to answer any questions that you might have. Leave it there.
Councilor Osborne, one question. It's actually regarding the donation receipt. And it says it's for the market value of the land. So it's on your page 3. So are we saying the land's valued at $430,000?
That's correct. So if we were to proceed with this offer, right, one of the things that we would do in terms of our closing costs or diligence is we would get a land appraisal completed. Okay. We have not done that because we don't have authorization from council to proceed. Okay. But the market value appraisal that Perry Lake has done on this is based on sale value. So based on the conversation I've had with realtors in the area, this is very, very close, and the numbers should line up based on recent sale.
Okay. Councilor Black?
If number 3, leave an existing building, the library doesn't need the 2-story building. I would think it just needs the downstairs.
Can you rephrase the right word? Are you seeking based on this building currently?
Yes, sorry. If we keep this as a building, for our library, there would be enough space on the first floor for library extension and all that, right?
That very very well could be. We'd have to look at the design components. If we kept this building, regardless, we need to renovate for the outdoors and factor in accessibility components. If we were to use this upper floor or anything, we'd have to put in a lift and accessibility standards.
But if we didn't want to put a lift in, is there a possibility that we just seal the upstairs?
That's something that could be looked at. I hadn't thought about that possibility, but it's something that could be looked at.
I don't know what the legalities would be, that's all.
No, so we'd have to.
Councilor Rogers? If we were to leave the library in the existing building, would we not still have to bring the whole entire building up to code? Which is
Yes.
why we want to move out of this building to begin with, is it not?
Yes. My recommendation from staff perspective would be to look at building new, utilizing existing properties, because we have the ability to leverage the building. So if we, in an example, if council wanted to designate the old church property for the future home of the library, we could fundraise or seek the funds for the project, and this building could be liquidated and sold to pay for other assets. So we have other assets in the downtown or town area that we could consider liquidating or using to leverage the infrastructure needs and take the burden of finances off, where we have the assets that we can use.
But would we not be in the same time crunch for the library as we are up here? Like,
Yes, we are. So, great question. I've spoken with the building inspectors, and Aaron and myself have been meeting with them next week. And they've agreed to work with us as long as we have done the minimal standards in the report, but we also have to have some additional reporting. What they would ask us to do is every hour we would have to have a fire monitor, check every building or every room in the building, and do a sign off to ensure that there's no smoke in the building or any fire hazards. So they will work with us to get us through. There's some mitigations to do it, but we get us out of here as quickly as possible.
okay. That's all for.
Councillor LeBlanc kind of jolted me with another question. Like, so if we kept this building, we renovated it to what we needed to as far as accessibility for the library on the bottom floor. And I honestly don't know what the legislation states regarding accessibility except for the date. If the top floor remained not public use, does it still have to meet the accessibility requirements of 2030?
I don't know the answer to that question either. We could seek out an answer for you.
Because I thought it was for public spaces.
I believe it is for public spaces.
And if this was not a public space on the second floor any longer, then that may mitigate some of the cost of renovating this for the library. Correct?
It may. I don't know the answer to your question.
Supplementary question?
Yes.
It's just that I know it's sometimes in high-rise buildings, they may leave a whole floor vacant. And so that was just my thought, that we could leave the top floor vacant, provided we got rid of the panel and stuff like that. So that's the only reason. It's a private area. It's not open to the public, so we wouldn't have to put anything in. And secondly, it would enable us to have the upstairs to do something with 2-5 years down the road, if that's our desire, and with a minimal cost of putting in a elevator or whatever, then we could turn this into maybe like a rental office space. But anyway, that's what was behind my thought. There are apartment buildings or towers where some floors are left empty, or apartments are left empty, and nobody seems to go really upset about it.
That's the last one. As far as the offer of land, I think we should take it. I think we definitely should do our due diligence, and it's a great parcel of land. I personally would like to hear from the residents on what their views are of the town hall moving up there. But I mean, The grocery stores are up there. Hopefully there'll be restaurants soon up there. It's very walkable. There's sidewalks already. So I would like us to certainly explore it further. If we were looking to vote on it tonight, or a motion to put on the floor.
That's the council's discretion. I just, this is unsolicited offer.
Mhm.
I brought information to council, and the council said to put a motion on the floor. That is super so.
What way you want to go with the motion tonight. We could make a motion just to receive the report, or we could put a motion on the floor. But we could just make the motion to receive the report.
But then we would not be meeting our deadline of April 15th.
I agree. I would like to take the land. We can ask the questions and decide what we want to do, whether we want to build a library on the old church lot or leave it here. I would like to see a brand new library myself if we could get the proper funding, but I think that we should secure the land and move forward with the motion this evening.
I'll make the motion that we move forward with the offer of the land from Perry Lake Development in the amount of $1 for the purpose of building a new town hall. And make that recommendation to council.
I'll second that.
Okay. And are there any questions? Discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Pass. No objections. We will move on to 10. I guess the 10. Okay. Next one.
Yes, it should be. Yes. I'll make the adjustment.
Okay. Yeah, this is gonna help that.
File policy.
File and policy. The funding and grants policy.
So with Councilor Rogers as chair, staff attended the bylaw policy meeting last week, and the bylaw policy group made a motion or a recommendation to council to approve funding and grants policy that is before you this evening. The purpose of the policy is basically to set the financial terms for reporting. The town funds a number of organizations through our budget, and that includes the RCMP, it includes the Colchester Library, it includes fire, the trail, park planning contracts, a whole different variety of entities. From a financial responsibility and transparency purpose, we just wanted to have a policy in place that would require any agencies that we fund to be able to provide the proper financial reporting to our teams so we can be fully transparent with the public and make sure that all entities are on a level playing ground. So the policy essentially, I can answer any questions in the policy. However, the policy portion 1.4 in terms of funding requirements, it will require all public agencies, societies, or volunteer groups that receive annual funding in excess of $10,000 annually to provide audited financial statements, annual budgets, requests to the town by January 1st each year, and report to council approximately halfway through each fiscal year. The intent of this policy is just to bind all entities receiving funding in the amount of $10,000 or more from the town to provide the audited financial statements, budget requests, so that when we go out to the public in January with our draft budget, we have all the active numbers of all the assets coming in, puts us on the same calendar, and then we have transparency and the opportunity for each entity like Colchester Library, executive director or board members would come in, do a report halfway through the year and provide some financial statements. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions on the policy. But that is the intent and the recommendation from the following policy request for council to adopt.
Any questions? All right, well, I'm looking for a motion then. I can make the motion to recommend to council to accept the funding and grants policy as presented.
I'll second. Councilor Osler seconded. Any discussions? No? All in favor? Everyone? All right. And moving on to SPACs.
Yes, so just wondering when are the odds that I can get that HDMI cable over to me?
Oh.
2021 now. Hey. I mean,
It's
Jacob, the only problem with
Just
this is it'll bypass our Zoom feed.
okay,
So if we have the report in front of council and the
Yeah.
public has the report and we can just leave it as is.
yeah, for sure.
Okay.
That's not a problem. Okay, thank you very much, Mayor Glasson. Good evening to members of council, everyone attending today. Yeah, so this was just in front of the Planning Advisory Committee this month. The request for an encroachment. The subject property is 208 Kitchener Street, and the town was approached by the realtor of the new buyer of the property. So this property recently changed hands, and they had requested that the town provide a letter that acknowledges the existence of an encroachment. So they give us a survey, it shows where the encroachment is. It's on the final page here of your report under Schedule A, and it just shows that there's an encroachment. It's about 1.3 feet onto the town's land, which is a pretty small distance, but it is an important one because that's the wall of their home. So they're looking for a little bit of assurance from the town that the town isn't going to suddenly go ahead and say, well, we need you to get rid of your wall because, you know, this is town land. And so we worked with the town solicitor. He provided an agreement. And so the agreement essentially goes through explaining that the town acknowledges that the encroachment exists, allows the landowner to continue using that to, of course, have the wall of the home remain intact. But it also sets out what the town will do if in the future that land is needed. So, you know, as an example, if Kitchener Street needed to be widened or a bike lane or anything like that in the future, it sets out the procedure that the town would go through to get that land back. So providing advance notice and acting reasonably and these sort of things. And so it's really a benefit for the property owner in the town, in my professional opinion, because it simply allows everyone to understand what they're doing and there's terms of the agreement that those people would sign off on, and the applicant is tentatively agreeing with the terms of the agreement. And so the other benefit is that it accounts for different possibilities. So if this home was demolished, if it burned down, the use of that encroachment would stop. It accounts for situations like these. And so that's really the benefit of this. And so this report has two recommendations, or it has two parts of the recommendation. And one is that the town enter into the agreement for the reasons that I described. And then the second one is that staff consider future requests like this through a similar lens. So if another person comes forward and says, hey, I've got this encroachment, can you sign off on a letter? The idea is that going forward, this would be something that staff would handle internally, but without the need of council. And the reason for that is that these are really time-sensitive applications. In this case, they weren't able to get this done before they closed it on the home. Luckily, they had some information that they could go on for a bit of assurance there. But in the future, for somebody to be able to get this letter before they close out the deal on the home would be ideal. And so the idea would be that this agreement could be applied on a routine basis for similar applications. And so that's the second part of the recommendation. So the next step would be that council would consider this, and if they choose to go ahead to sign the town into an agreement for the encroachment agreement which is attached, and the recommendation is the end of the report and beginning. And that concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions about the project. Thank you.
Any questions? We are looking for 2 motions for this. Correct?
Well, one motion to.
1 motion, yeah.
I'll make the recommendation to council that staff enter the town into an encroachment agreement with the applicant, and further that we recommend to council that staff consider future encroachment agreement requests through a similar process without requiring a public process.
Councilor Adams, made the motion. Is there a seconder? I can second it. Councilor Rogers. Are there any questions or discussions on this? All in favor? I believe that is it for our sessions. I've written that down and so okay. Moving on.
So we had a new bylaw meeting last week. The commercial district improvements bylaw 2018-24 came up. It is about the, I guess, commercial tax incentive that we have within the town. Collectively, the bylaw committee did feel that it maybe wasn't as warranted anymore as it was several years ago when it was first put into place. It's due for review in July. It can be reviewed prior to that. But I did want to bring it to council tonight as a discussion because I know there was a business committee meeting, which I'm sure it was talked about. And I know we've had one person speak out on it already. So before anything has kind of moved forward, I thought that we should just have a discussion within council, and this will give more citizens or potential business owners a chance to come forward as well. So I just wanted to kind of open it up this evening, I guess, for a discussion. Anyone had anything?
That's a Osborne.
As chair of the business committee, we've been talking about this for the last 3 months. We did discuss it again this morning. I'm looking at Ms. Richards so she can help me a little bit. We did discuss it this morning at great length. Mayor Glasser was in attendance as well. Mayor Glasser provided a wonderful overview of what happened at the bylaw meeting to our committee. It was asked if we could pause this until such time as the business committee and the bylaw and policy committee could meet together and discuss. There was a number of different suggestions whereby it takes such a great amount of time to bring this bylaw into existence because you need the provincial authorization where it is a tax incentive program instead of repealing it as the recommendation was from the bylaw and policy committee and trying to start fresh with a new one. There was some suggestion that perhaps we look at modifying it instead of repealing the whole bylaw. If I may, I'm going to ask Ms. Richard if I missed anything.
Perhaps the PAC committee should be invited as well, as we do the planning. And a second consideration is the reason I suggest a third committee is that all the committees have a common interest. So instead of each one doing it at a separate time, we bring everybody together, and I think that'd be more transparent. So whether we keep it or not, modify it or not, we should be doing that perhaps with other things that come before us as a council. Recognize that it may have an impact upon another committee,
and that the committees don't work in isolation, that we do cooperatively work together to see that things are done in a, like I said already, in a more transparent way.
That's a suggestion.
And there is overlap in the committees in some things.
So if I can make a suggestion, I believe Mayor Glasser's the chair of PAC. Councilor Rogers is the chair of bylaw and policy, and I'm the chair of business. Perhaps the three of us could maybe get a doodle poll and see when our committees are able to meet together, whether it be by Zoom or in person. I know my committee meets during the day because it's business committee, and I'm not sure if what my members' availability is in the evening, but I'm sure we can make it work. So,
Yep, sounds good.
So I can tell you our next meeting is April 9th. It was depending on what happened tonight, on whether we were going to meet earlier than that or not. So I'm not sure if you want to meet earlier than that, but maybe the three of us can chat.
PAC is the 18th, bylaws the 19th.
Back on the 26th.
Wednesday.
But we can, the three of us, I guess, can.
So I think we're the E.
Correct.
Oh, right, there you go. Thank you. We're all nice to meet you. Yeah. Hopefully, there you go.
But yeah, I think that's a great idea. And again, that's why I wanted the discussion, because I know there's a lot of parties, there's been a lot of citizen comments, pros and cons. So I think it needs to be discussed a little bit further before doing much with it.
And we did a survey as well, so we can bring those results. Alright. Do we
No, it's just
This
this
is a
discussion.
session right now. Is that it?
Yeah,
There's nothing else that I just write down. So that concludes the business. And we do have an in-camera session.
So do you want a motion to move it to camera?
Yeah, I'm used to having the citizen comments at the end and the other things. So I feel
I'll make a motion.
Doesn't have the mayor or councilor comments in there either.
right. Yeah, it just feels like this thing's missing. So
I realized it's that, and it's because we'll combine two meetings.
It's all the end.
So with the committee of whole happening only, we did miss it. We can add that, or we can wait till it's.
I just wanted to say that people should come out to the amalgamation. I think it's very important. That was it.
okay. Would any of the councilors like to make a comments? All right, we will move into our in-camera.
You want a motion?
We need to make sure that we're do we need to make sure that we're offline and stuff before we go in camera?
We need the
motion.
Alright, and Councilor Oliver made the motion, and second, Councilor Rogers.
7:54, I believe.
In favor of going in camera? Okay.